Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Not So Small Talk. I'm your host, Amy Lee Westerveld, the Dream Design Coach, and I'm so excited for our conversation today. This is one of those conversations that I think is really a game changer when you start to really understand this concept and kind of how it all works. It really becomes something that you can take with you in your business and in the rest of your life. So if you're joining me live, please let me know. I would love to welcome you. If this is your first time catching me live, go ahead and say hi and let me know that as well. And if you are an OG or somebody who's been here before, let me know that too. Hello, gorgeous Laura. How are you? So good to see you. I am so excited for this conversation, and I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it. So my commitment to you is that I'm going to share this information, and it's my hope that by the end of this conversation, you have some light bulb moments. You're like, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize that was me. And you can take this information with you into the rest of your day and into the rest of your life, and maybe even share it with others that you love. So one of the things that I'm kind of known for in the industry is they call me the reverse Grim Reaper, because when people get into my energy, they start to make their dreams happen. They start to have really incredible opportunities and circumstances that they never thought possible. And so in certain circles, I have come to be known as somebody who's really good at manifestation. In fact, I call myself a master manifestress. Thank you so much. I even named my mastermind that we just started, I'll tell you guys about that later, Manifestress, because it's all about manifesting with that delicious divine feminine energy. But people ask me all the time, I need help manifesting. I want to learn how to manifest better. Like, manifesting is something I'm interested, but I'm not really sure how it works. So I want to get into that conversation today and tell you why that might be a problem for you. So some of the things that I'm going to cover today, we're going to talk about what is it that's sabotaging your manifestation, right? Like, how come you want these things and you do the affirmations and you do the work and you write it down and you do all the things and it still doesn't happen for you? We're also going to talk about why you can manifest no problem when you need it, but it's so hard to manifest when you just want it, right? When it's just something that you want. And then I'm going to teach you the one thing that will help you manifest more powerfully. So let's get into it, you guys. So excited to have this conversation. So I want you to think about what your motivation is for manifestation, okay? When you're trying to create something in your life. And that's why I titled this talk, Desire as Fuel, because that is the one thing that is really going to take you in the direction of what you're trying to create. Now, what's wrong is that most people aren't trying to create anything. They're actually trying to uncreate or not create something. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say that you're a person who has money struggles. Okay, you have money struggles, you are always looking for ways to make ends meet. You're not really sure how you're gonna, pay the mortgage or whatever, what have you. So you aren't actually trying to create more money in abundance. You're creating more money to undo your debt. So you want to not be in debt. So you're actually what we call away motivated. You are doing something, or you're manifesting in the hope that you can get away from this undesirable circumstance. Okay. Now I want you to consider like a line. Like there's bad, there's non-ideal circumstance, and there's ideal circumstance. Okay. So what happens is you only go to that middle point, right? You're away from the danger, but you're not actually in the direction of the thing that you desire. So what happens is people go through their lives being away motivated, making just enough to be able to escape the clutches of doom, but they're not actually creating in the direction of their dreams. So what you see is a lot of, oh my gosh, I really need to make money so that I don't default on this payment. I really need to make money so that I really need to meet someone so I'm not alone. When you hear that, so that this bad thing doesn't happen, that's your indication that you're away motivated. So what happens is when you're consistently away motivated, all you're really manifesting is not that circumstance. Okay, so if you're sick, I really just want to feel better. But you don't necessarily care if you feel amazing. You just don't want to feel sick, right? Think about when you have the stomach bug and you're throwing up and you're like, oh my gosh, I just want this nausea to end. You want the nausea to end, but you're not saying, oh my gosh, I can't wait until I'm running and jumping, because your mind just wants to get out of that pain. So when you're constantly creating a life to get out of pain, you'll get out of the pain, but you're not going to cross over into that abundance. Okay. So this is what we see happen all the time with folks. And people will come to me and be like, yeah, I can manifest sometimes. I can manifest when I need it, but I can't manifest when I want it. And this is because there's a very different energy of manifesting from need and manifesting from desire. Okay, so Gabby Bernstein actually named this. She calls it manic manifesting. Manic manifesting is that do or die moment. It's that moment when you have to make it happen or else. And let me tell you, 90% of the population is real good at manic manifesting. When it is your back's to the wall, I have to make it happen, right? That is when people can do it. Why? Because they know how to get themselves out of pain. Everybody just about knows how to alleviate pain, but people don't necessarily know how to take it the rest of the way. Okay, so when you're in a good place and you don't need it anymore and you're making good money, now all of a sudden, you're making 10, 20, 30,000, whatever, and you're like, I want to scale, and I can't, because you are now going to have to learn how to move in the direction of what you desire. And you're so used to moving away from what you don't desire. Does this make sense to you guys? Give me some hearts if this resonates. I'd love to hear your stories. Tell me, has this ever happened to you? Have you ever felt like all of a sudden, you've been doing great, you've been, having clients or whatever it is that you do, and life is going great, and then when you try to creep over into that place where you're starting to manifest abundance is where it kind of seems to hit a plateau? Or where you're just like, I don't know what happened. I was doing so well. And then, Gay Hendricks calls it the upper limit problem, right? And that's because we've got to shift into a very different energy. We have to go toward something, okay? So what does that look like? What does toward manifestation look like? Well, that's where your girl comes in, because it's about deciding what you want instead of what you don't want. Okay, so we spend a lot of time talking about what we don't want. I don't want to be in debt. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to get to the end of the month and not be able to pay my bills. I don't want my family to be suffering. I don't want to not be able to do these things. But it's not very often that we talk about what we do want. So we have to start to have those conversations. And we have to have those conversations with the understanding that we're moving in the direction of something. That is, we have to have these conversations not as an answer to fix a problem, but as an aspiration. And there's a very different feeling around that, okay? So if you think about are you filling a hole because you want flat ground to walk across, or are you filling a hole so that you don't step in a hole? Right? Do you want to get to the other side and it's in there and there's a spot in the way? Or do you want to fill the hole so you don't accidentally fall in? So what we have to figure out is, what is it that we are trying to create in our lives? Get excited about that. Send our energy towards that for that's sake, not to run away from this other thing that's chasing us. Okay, so I would love for you guys, as we're having this conversation, go ahead and drop some of those aspirational desires into the comments, because I would love to hear them, right? So for example, let's say you're like, I want to manifest $10,000 a month. That's great. But the thing that matters is the motivation, because I want to manifest $10,000 a month so that I always have enough to pay my bills. That's a way motivated, right? But if I want to manifest $10,000 so every month I can get my nails done and I can take my kids to the movies and I can buy all the groceries that I want and I can take my spouse on an incredible date night, same exact thing, but now we're talking about toward motivated. Now, as you start to do this, because I want you to do this, I want you to think of a goal you have and start to really think about if you're currently toward motivated or away motivated. So think of anything that you're trying to manifest in this moment or have tried to manifest recently and think about, are you toward motivated or are you away motivated? And go ahead and drop that in the comments. And I want you to notice that if you are away motivated, you're going to feel very different in your body than if you are toward motivated. When you're toward motivated, you're like, yes, I could do this all day. This is exciting. This lights me up. This brings me to the next level. What else could I create? When you're away motivated, though, you're like, oh gosh, I got to do this otherwise, right? We talk all the time about shooting all over yourself, right? I got to do this because I have to. This is important. It's imperative. That's some really low energy that's attached to away motivation. Okay. I want to be booked out with clients so I can help others. I love that. I don't know who it is, but I am sending you so much energy. I based my income goals off my bills and then I paid everything off and didn't up my financial dreams. Now I need to realign those goals. Exactly. So when we start building from the perspective of what can we create, now we're really getting into those high vibrations. That's where the magic manifesting happens versus manic manifesting, which is like, I've just got to make this happen. I've just got to get this last $2,000 before the end of the month because XYZ bill is due. I'm going to make another $2,000 in the next 24 hours and I'm going to buy myself the most amazing, whatever it is, right? Same exact goal, very different motivation. And I want you to consider that there is a factor when it comes to supercharging this energetics, right? When you're trying to create from this beautiful aligned place of like, this is what I want, there's a very real energy behind that. And that energy is desire. Okay. Now, before you get all freaked out, desire gets a bad rap. Desire sounds like all it is, sexual energy. And it's all about just, like, I want this thing and I'm going to kick and scream like Veruca Salt until I get it. That is not what desire is. Desire is the energetic magnetism from inside of your body that is connecting you to whatever it is that you're manifesting. Okay. So think about like Spider-Man and how he has those little things where he like flips his wrist and spiders out a web. When you're acting out of desire, you are sending an energetic web to what it is that you are trying to manifest, and you are pulling it toward you. So the more desire you have, the stronger that web becomes, okay? Now, depending on what your human design looks like, you're going to find that that desire is going to resonate somewhere in your body differently. For me, it's my sacrum. For you, it might be your solar plexus, wherever that comes from, but you're going to have an authority in your body that is going to connect you to what it is that you desire. If you're not familiar with human design, I have an awesome free crash course that is in my cover photo. You can click on it. It's completely free. It's a whole class. And it will teach you all of the basics you need to know about human design so you can start reading your chart and things like that. And that's 100% free for you. Or if you have no authority, you get to make one up, Laura. It's great. Your authority list. Your environment is your authority. So that's why erotic fiction is so great for us. And so what I want you to understand is that when you connect to what you want to create and bringing it back into your field, that is a much higher vibration because now we are toward motivated. So I use this example and I think you guys can all relate, but you remember in junior high, when we had to set lunar authority. I love that. We've got a reflector here, ladies and gentlemen. Yay, 1%er. Hello, soundboarding. Yes. So when you were in junior high and they brought out those people to come sell the candy bars and they got in the front of the room and they were like, here's what you can win. Here are all the things that you can win if you sell candy bars to all the people and annoy everyone. And what did we do? We all got all excited. We got our little boxes of candy bars. My dad ate like most of mine, but We got our candy bars and we went, and some of us stood in front of the food store. Some of us went to the library. Some of us went to sports games. We, hit up all the people in our neighborhood. Why? Because we were driven by the idea that we were going to get these prizes, that we were going to get the headphones, or we were going to get the trip, or whatever it was that was at the front of the room. This is why network marketing is so effective, because they understand that if they can get you incentivized to go on a trip or to win a trophy or whatever it is, as I call it with Laura, I always say the golden mushroom, right? If they can get you excited and moving toward a goal, they know they've got you, because your motivation to work and to do the work is going to be so much higher. You're going to be able to push yourself out of that comfort zone so much more easy because of what is waiting on the other side. Okay. But I'm here to tell you guys, you can create your own darn carrot. Yes, exactly, Laura. You can create your own carrot. You get to decide what it is that motivates you. You get to decide what it is that you are moving in the direction of. What is it that lights you up? And that is the work that a lot of people just aren't willing to do. Or they just haven't been able to break through that away motivation to get over to the towards side. Okay. So when you add desire to your manifestation, you are supercharging it 100%, because it's like, instead of going, hey, there's that thing over there and I want it over here with me, you are literally spidey webbing it, grabbing it and pulling it to you, okay, energetically. And I have seen this so much with my clients. You guys, I had a client, I'm going to write a post about this later. I had a client call me this morning freaking out because she was in an airport. Okay. And after learning how to be toward motivated and what it was that she was trying to create, she was trying to create a new 6-figure contract that could take the place of the other contracts. Some of them are kind of, a little bit of a hassle and whatnot. So she was trying to create a 6-figure contract with somebody, right? That she could just get rid of some of the other things that weren't as aligned and be set for the year. And so this is something that, she was working on. She was writing about it. She would, we used our visualization techniques and things like that. She called me this morning and said, you're not even going to believe this. People say this to me all the time. And my first thought is what? Oh, yes, I am. But go ahead. And she said, I was at the airport of all places, and somebody came up to me and we got talking about what I do. And he said that he wants me to come in and interview for a position, a 6-figure consulting position. And I was like, yeah. So she's like, but how did I do that? I'm like, well, because when you know what you want, that's when you get to start shopping in the field of possibility. Okay. So what happens is, when we're away motivated, we're living in the field of probability. We have this idea in our minds of what is going to happen. If I don't do this, this bad thing's going to happen to me. I need to do this because what I see around me right now tells me that this isn't happening. Okay. It's very easy to get stuck in the field of probability when we are away motivated. But when we're toward motivated, when we're out of that away motivation and we're moving in the direction of something. And by the way, for those of you asking, because I feel you out there, you can be away motivated, you can be toward motivated while you are still trying to figure out how to make ends meet. It's a fine line to walk, but you absolutely can do it. You can hold the energy of this with the understanding that you're still trying to make this happen. Okay. It's not easy. I don't recommend it if you don't have to. Definitely get your stuff taken care of over here, but it's possible. So I don't want you to feel like you're counted out or like, oh, well, I'm not even in the world of possibility. Yes, you can be. So when you start thinking in the what if, right? Like, oh my gosh, this is what I want. I want to create this. I want to move towards this, right? You're moving toward that. Now you're operating in the field of possibility. Now, when you're operating in the field of possibility, the quantum goes like this, right? Like it's like, here's your reality. And then it goes up like a funnel. And then up here, this is all of the possibilities of what could happen, what you could be creating. Okay. And so when you are toward motivated, you're like, oh my gosh, I want $2,000 by the end of the day. Let's see. I could get a new client. I could sell 10 of this, evergreen offer. I could have somebody message me and say, oh my gosh, I forgot I still owe you a payment from 2 years ago. Like there's so many different possibilities, right? So that's where we live when we're talking about toward motivation. We're talking about aspirational. We're talking about what we could create, what could happen. And the more that we open ourselves to those possibilities, married with our desires, is where we really start to make those things happen. So if you guys have any questions on this, feel free to drop those in as we go through this. I know that you're going to have a little bit of opposition to some of this and a little bit of blocks. It's okay. Like I said, this is a very aspirational conversation, okay? So what is sabotaging? Oh, I'm glad, Laura. I know. It just came to me. I totally thought that was great. One thing that is really sabotaging your manifestations, lost the word for a second, is the away motivation. Okay, so when you're thinking about what you want, you're secretly thinking about what you don't want, or you only want that thing because it's an answer to the thing that you don't want. And the reason that you can't manifest when you desire versus when you need it is because you're trying to move in the direction of something for something's sake. You're trying to create more abundance, more joy, more happiness. You're creating for the sake of creating, not to fill a hole in the ground. And that's a very different energy. You have to operate in the field of possibility versus the field of probability. Oh, thanks, Tom. Yes, desire is the fuel. Absolutely. And so you need to operate in the field of what could happen and what might happen and what I am an energetic match to believing, more than what you see right in front of you that's like, oh my God, my house is on fire. We're not going to, if my house is on fire, I'm not going to aspire to find water. I'm going to pour, the toilet on it if I can pick it up, right? Like, I don't care. It's like, whatever, like I need to put out this problem, as opposed to something that's like, gosh, wouldn't it be amazing if we had that? Like, wouldn't that be incredible? Wouldn't it be incredible to live in a world where, right? And so that is that toward, gosh, if at the end of this, I get $1 million brand, I can do this all day. If at the end of this, I get this, then I'm in. If at the end of this, I get the golden mushroom, I am all over this. And so that is what our motivation needs to be. It needs to be toward the thing we're trying to create instead of away from the thing we're trying not to create. Okay. So it's happiness, not sadness. It's exuberance, not boredom. It's joy, not despair. Do you see the difference? There's a very different energy in not this and this. They're not the same. They're not the same thing. Okay. And then the last thing is, one thing that manifests, really supercharges your manifestations, is desire. It's really truly getting to the core of what it is that you're trying to create and making that happen for yourself. So let me tell you guys, if this resonated for you, if you loved this conversation, I would love to invite you to come join my free Facebook group. We have a blast, super engaged in there, not spammy at all. It's called Designed to Dream. You guys are more than welcome to join me there. And of course, check out my website at amyleewestervelt.com. You can get all kinds of fun freebies there. You can grab my human design course that's in the bio. I actually just made a TikTok and a reel today about this toward motivated and away motivated. Go watch it, get inspired by it. If you feel inclined, go ahead and share it with your audience, share it with your friends, share it with your partner. Let's all start living a life where we are not just moving away from the things that we don't desire, but moving in the direction of the things that we do. I'm Amy Lee Westervelt. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you guys next time on Not So Small Talk.